Alright, what is up YouTube? So I decided I'm going to do something a little different than the last couple videos. These next videos are going to be in a series, as long as I have the time to do it. Some of you might have wondered why in my last few videos my rank in Constructed is so low. Well, I really haven't had the time lately, between a lot of things in my professional life, to do a lot of MTG Arena. But I have played at the Mythic level for 3 seasons in the past. So this season, after rank reset, I'm currently at Bronze Tier 2 in my Constructed rank. And I'm going to, rather than keep making a bunch of different decks, because one of the things I've been tooling around with is that Orzhov Pixie Hopeless Nightmare deck. I've been tooling around with that a little bit, but I still haven't gotten it to be as consistent as the Sultai Crime deck that I've been working on for a while. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a Bronze to Mythic sort of thing, where I'm going to play this deck, at least until I find another deck that I like as much, in best of 3 until we hit Mythic rank. So if you guys would like to join me on this journey, I hope Jim Davis doesn't mind too much of me taking his Bronze to Mythic sort of title, but that is going to be the style of video, and we're going to see how fast we can get from Bronze up until Mythic. Alright, we're on the play for game 1. And not the greatest hand, but also not the worst. This is a good example of where we're probably going to be doing Smuggler's Surprise for lands and creatures on turn 3. Because if we can hit a Lookout or a Scrapgorger with Smuggler's Surprise on 3, then slam it on 4, it's going to be great to have those down before Vein Ripper. So it looks like we're against either Temur or Golgari. So double Virtue of Persistence isn't exactly what we want to be looking at right now. And double Smuggler Surprise. We'll play Smuggler's Surprise now, just in case they have Spell Pierce. We'll take a Freestrider Lookout and a Cottage. Yeah. Here's a good example also of a scenario where we might even be animating Cottage, so that way we can exile one of their lands from their graveyard here, or doing a Virtue of Persistence. Yep. So here we're probably going to do double double Virtue of Persistence just to make sure that opponent does not get their ramp, because there really isn't anything else in their list that we're going to be able to use these on anyways. And then next turn we're going to be doing Vein Ripper probably. Or maybe Virtue of Persistence. Alright. Yeah, we might do a Virtue of Persistence next turn. Because if they're going to do that, we can Virtue this turn, and then follow it up next turn with an 8 mana Smuggler's Surprise, where we mill 4, and then get 2 of the... Okay. Let's take a Freestrider Lookout. So right here we're going to do Assassin's Trophy and Vein Ripper. Because we really don't want opponent to be able to triple their mana if we can help it. Next turn, depends on what opponent does, but we're probably going to be doing Smuggler Surprise. We could do Make Your Own Luck actually. Smuggler Surprise really combos well with Virtue of Persistence as well. Alright. We'll take opponent's Shigeki. So that way they can't get it back with their Virtue. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we're gonna be able to Smuggler Surprise for all of it. So we'll just hold up Smuggler Surprise so that way we can make our Vein Ripper indestructible. So opponent's probably gonna go Virtue of Strength here into Ill-Timed Explosion. Oh, okay. I would have thought he would go Virtue of Strength first, because now he's really wasting, he's not being terribly mana efficient. Also, I don't know what he's doing with Shipwreck Marsh in a deck like that. Oh no, it's an Echoing Deeps. Gotcha. Because when you're playing this Temur Analyst deck, you really want to be able to play Virtue of Strength first and then tap other things. You want to make sure that you tap things that aren't your basics first. Okay. Opponent gets back their Nissa. Plays their Nissa. Sacrifices the Analyst. We get a Restless Reef. Yeah, so if you notice in this deck, Freestrider Lookout is a real all-star. So we're just going to keep holding priority, just in case opponent tries to do anything fancy, keep them on their toes. Because we don't want to, we could have tried to cheat out a Vein Ripper, another Vein Ripper, in response to the Analyst sack. Or maybe try to get it now. But the thing is we really want them to burn that ill-timed explosion. Because that's representing 6 damage currently. And we want to make sure that they use that where we can respond at instant speed to make sure our Vein Ripper survives. See, they got 12, 15, 18. Okay. So here's where we're gonna do it. Come on, big money. I should have put out a Scrapgorger actually. Okay, so they do it for 0. Are we going to be able to double animate next turn? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. Okay, let's see. So we can do Restless Cottage. Into our Vinestalk. Yep. We're going to swing with everything. We're going to target Shigeki, buff up its power, and exile their Memory Deluge. Who's the ramp deck now? And there we go. So that's going to be game 1 in the bag. And now we're going to board in 2 Tishanas, 2 Negates, 3 Duress, and 3 Tranquil Frillbacks to exile their graveyard. We're going to take out our Harvester of Misery, our Deadly Cover-Up, our Go for the Throat, 1 Virtue of Persistence, 2 Flesh Gorgers. Maybe we board out 2 Virtue of Persistence. One Gisa. And 1 Assassin's Trophy. I like that. Because since they saw 2 Virtue of Persistence in game 1, it's highly likely that they're going to be running some kind of graveyard removal. We could just play a Sholdred instead of the Virtue. I like 1 Virtue though. Yeah, we'll do that. Because Virtue still hits their Aftermath Analysts and Nisas. And those are cards that you definitely still want to get rid of. So, with our sideboard, if you notice, we took out a lot of our top end cards. So that we're kind of lower to the ground to them. Because we do want to end the game fast. And we also boarded in a lot of interaction and removal. So that's definitely a mulligan. This is a lot better. We will keep 6. Get rid of our Vein Ripper. So Scrapgorger is going to be a huge threat that they're going to have to take care of. And then next turn we're going to be able to Freestrider Lookout and Duress. Alright, big turn. So we do Freestrider Lookout, making sure not to tap the Scrapgorger. And then we're going to Duress the opponent, using the Scrapgorger to exile and we'll get a Restless Cottage, which also lets us exile their lands. So the name of the game now is going to be get rid of all of their lands that we can. We still don't want to trade our Lookout for Now, next turn we might be getting rid of Memory Deluge if they don't play it here. Yeah, we could have led on the duress, but I really wanted to get the Scrapgorger up for the crimes. Maybe I should have taken the Deluge last turn. I really didn't think they'd be able to generate that much mana. Yeah, we should have gotten rid of that Deluge last turn. Yeah, kind of an awkward draw for us, really. All right. I think we might put back the Assassin's Trophy and a Virtue. Yeah, we'll go down to 3 make your own lucks. Because we really need to make sure that Gisa or the Analyst don't live. Being able to get rid of both of them in game 1 was pretty pivotal. We will keep this. We'd really like a land, but we're not going to be hurting too bad if we don't get one. And that is perfect. Ooh, this is going to be great. So we get double ramp, we get to duress the opponent, and they've got a Gisa. So it's going to be really important next turn that we exile their graveyard. So if they don't play the Analyst here, they're going to be kind of behind. We got 2 lands in the graveyard. I think we frill back here. I think we wait to see what the opponent does. We'll Vein Ripper. Keep the pressure on. Put a good clock on them. Because they don't have a Splunking here. Maybe we'll be able to hit a Memory Deluge of some sort. Because the thing is they only have 2 lands in their graveyard that I would have exiled. And right here, yeah, they still mill another. And they've got a second Analyst as well. At least with Vein Ripper out, it's going to make it so that way we're getting lands. Yeah, so even if I had exiled their graveyard here on the last turn, they would still be getting back 2 of these lands. And I don't think that is enough of a hit. Now with this next Analyst, if we're able to let's see, do that, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we exile the graveyard. And just do that. Alright. GG's opponent. Yeah, because here we exile the opponent's graveyard. We don't gain the 4 life, and then we're going to use these 5 to animate the Restless Vinestalk. We get a crime off of targeting Gisa, so we're attacking with 5 trample plus this, that's 11, plus 6 is 17 exactly. And that's if they don't block. If they do block, they would live at 1. In bronze, the best of 3, and we're playing our Sultai Crime deck, and we get to go first. I don't know if we can keep this. If we hit, no. That's a lot better. So we're going to lead with Restless Cottage. So the reason why we mulligan that hand is, although it would be great if we were able to swing a forest, we really needed a green source. So here we're going to not Assassin's Trophy the crewmate. And we're just going to lay down a Gisa Sunseeker with the hopes of next turn being able to either double Virtue or Virtue Trophy. We're probably not going to be attacking with the Gisa just because they have the Saw Blades. I think we still attack with Gisa here. So here we're going to go Scrapgorger into trophying the synthesizer. We're fine drawing a card off of Gisa and then letting it die to Saw Blades. Yeah, our MMR is pretty high because, well, we basically went undefeated. So we're gonna Assassin's Trophy on the end step here because we really want to not allow them to get anything out there with Synthesizer, and Synthesizer is just way too good. And unfortunately, Gisa only hits enchantments. That's fine. So here I think we're gonna go for the Gisa. Hopefully they don't have counter magic. And I exiled their synthesizer just because I really don't want them to be able to get that back somehow. And we have 2 Virtue of Persistence in hand, so we're going to have no problem making crimes happen. Here, we're worried about opponent having a board wipe of some sort. Yep. Something like that. So here we're just going to go ahead, get rid of the Pixie, and we'll also get rid of the Pirate. We're not going to tap or attack our. We're not going to tap or attack with the Scrapgorger yet. We don't want to get it saw bladed. So opponent's on the Skitterbeam synthesizer plan. If we can hit a Harvester of Misery, that would be pretty great here. We will take a Freestrider Lookout. So our game against this type of deck gets a lot better after sideboarding. If we hit one more land, we can Smuggler Surprise both modes. If we don't, we're probably going to do a Virtue of Persistence with a Lookout. So we take 6 here. I think we're gonna make your own luck here again. Try and see if we can't hit another land. We will take a Flesh Gorger for sure. Alright. So we just gotta survive one more turn. And then we're gonna have a lot of things going for us. Now, opponent is the type of deck where they might have some kind of board wipe. Alright, so here we're definitely going to run with our negates, our duresses, our tidebinders, a deadly cover-up, and all of our throwbacks. We're going to be taking out our Flesh Gorgers, our Go for the Throat, Gisa, both of our Harvesters, one Gisa, 2 Virtues, maybe we take out all of our Virtues? You know, I think we maybe cut a Tidebinder. No, it's pretty good here. We can cut one cover up, one Tidebinder. No, we're gonna want the cover up. We'll cut the Virtue. Actually, we'll cut a Tidebinder and a Trophy. All right. We'll be on the play again. It's not the best, but we'll keep it. If we can manage to do hit a make your own luck on turn 4, that would be pretty huge. Opponent's playing a really weird deck where they're playing like the Assimilation Aegis sort of thing, but they're also, which you generally want to play like a very sort of slower game, but then they're also playing Spyglass Sirens and Pirates, which is really odd to me. We're not going to tap our Scrapgorger there because we want to be able to not have it die to Saw Blades. Yep. I knew opponent was going to have Saw Blades there. That's why we didn't tap the Scrapgorger. And we will have a free make your own luck. Next turn, we're probably going to slam our Vein Ripper. Yep. Especially because now they're not holding up counter magic. Actually, we might be looking to... Yeah, I think we're gonna do a border wipe this turn. What's in our graveyard? 2 make your own lucks. So next turn we're gonna be holding up Smuggler's Surprise with double Vein Ripper. And hopefully we're able to get the job done there. Double Vein Ripper is going to really hurt him with the Forge. Yup. Nice. Got a Boseiju too. Alright, yeah. So we're just gonna spam in 2 Vein Rippers with Smuggler Surprise next turn. So it's important to note that opponent also does not have the mana for a Wandering Emperor or anything. So we will put in Vein Ripper 1, Vein Ripper 2. Opponent will take 8 damage. And so here, if you notice, we can actually just attack them with our Vein Rippers. So here we're going to do Freestrider Lookout. We're going to hit their hit trophy on Tishana. Yep. And that's it. So opponent did put in some graveyard hate. So we're probably going to take out the Virtue. Probably going to take out Virtue. And maybe put in Harvester of Misery against that type of deck over the Gisa. Yeah, like that. Because we still want 2 Gisas. They're really good for just their utility of being able to make a large army on demand. But 1 Harvester is going to be great against this Nurturing Pixie sort of deck. I think we'll be greedy and keep this because we can use a Smuggler's Surprise to get some lands. We really need to hit our 3rd land though. The reason why I played Island there instead of Restless Reef is because I want to be able to negate their Simulacrum that they play. And they did not play it. Here we're gonna do a Duress and hold up negate. Because we know that they at least have Saw Blades in hand. And we will absolutely take that Cryptic Coat. Opponent attacks him with the Pixie. It's notable that this is the first damage that they've gotten in, and that is why we held up the negate. Opponent must be pretty mad. God knows I would be. Here I think we're going to Blooming Marsh. And then we'll probably run out maybe a Smuggler's Surprise to make sure we can guarantee a land. So we know that they have 2 Saw Blades in hand. So we only really need to be worried about it hitting our Vein Rippers if they're tapped. Alright, there we go. That is a problem. Yeah, what's nice about this is it'll help us guarantee our land drop. Here we can get Scrapgorger and a Gisa. Now here, I think we probably actually want to go Frillback. To get rid of the Forge. So we will do destroy target artifact or enchantment. Hit your Forge. It's also notable that as long as we're blocking, them having 2 Saw Blades out is not the craziest thing in the world. And now at this point in time, we know all of the opponent's cards in their hand, and that's pretty notable because see, they played a land from their hand that we didn't know about. So that's sort of a mistake on their behalf. Just because it's much more frightening to run out something that's like an unknown than it is basically limiting the amount of information that we're able to have about the cards in their hand is what they want to be doing. So even though they revealed the planes, they played out a land, Inspire Advantage. Alright, now the big question will be, does opponent attack? They know we got them with the Smuggler Surprise last time. And that's it. It's pretty hard to beat 2 Vein Rippers. Yeah. So even though we fumbled a little bit in the first game, we got them on games 2 and 3. And that is our rank up. Dewey Finn. Alright, we're going to be on the play. Pretty slow hand with the lands, but I mean, it's got our colors, it's got a Freestrider Lookout and a Smuggler Surprise. What more can we ask for outside of maybe not 3 tap lands? But hey, if you play a deck with 6 tap lands in it, all of the Restless lands, then well, I guess that's what I get sometimes. If we don't draw an untap, if we don't draw a 4th land by turn 3 though, we might on turn 4 be playing Smuggler Surprise just to make sure we hit our 4th land drop instead of just going for the Lookout. We played the Reef here instead of the Vinestalk because in case we get a Flesh Gorger, the George. Opponent's on a what appears to be a very slow start of Boros. I'm assuming they're going to do their flashing reinforcements right here. The 2-mana guy. Yep, Resolute Reinforcements. You got it. Okay. Still hard to tell if they're mono white or just Boros. So we're going to go with Lookout. It blocks really nicely. Do you have the case? If we're able to rip a Harvester of Misery, they do have the case of the Gateway Express. We are in trouble. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to show them the rest of our deck. Well, we have a really great sideboard against this guy, so I'm not concerned. We're going to be boarding in 2 Path of Perils, a Deadly Cover-Up, an Aclazotz. Do we want Aclazotz? Maybe no Aclazotz. Actually, yeah, Aclazotz over Gisa. Aclazotz over Gisa. Maybe 1 Gisa. Take out our 2 make your own looks. I don't know why, but we are running very slow right now for the computer. Do we want Shelly? I like 2 make your own looks. 2 make your own looks is good. Alright. Now we've got our board wipes. We will be on the play. 1 land hands are not going to get us there. We can deal with this. Start with Restless Cottage. Next turn we'll go Boseiju, Scrapgorger. Opponent leaves on Novice Inspector. That's fine. Now next turn, if opponent does not play a card we can make a crime with, we can still go for the throat. Yep. Yeah, we've got 2 Path to Perils, 2 Harvester of Miseries. We should be fine. Opponent bricks on the night. Okay, that's pretty huge. So we're going to go for the throat on the night right now. Get our first trigger. Get a Blooming Marsh. And then we are going to say go ahead. We want to conserve our life total as much as possible here. Now, since we can only trigger Freestrider Lookout once each turn, we triggered it on our turn. Now we're going to trigger it with Scrapgorger on their turn. Then we're going to be able to play a Vein Ripper and follow up the Vein Ripper with a Harvester of Misery. Opponent bricks again on the night trigger. Well, I'm very sorry, opponent. Alright, you know what? We are just going to hang out. Because now we can Smuggler Surprise in our Vein Ripper. And Vein Ripper triggers actually trigger Freestrider. They count as crimes. Which is great. Opponent plays an Urabrask's Forge. Okay. Alright, well they didn't see it in game 1, but here you go, buddy. You take 8. Pew pew. Alright. Now that we know that they're running Urabrask's Forge, I think we're going to run maybe 2 Frillbacks over our Gisa and make your own luck. Maybe... Yeah, I like that. So really the nice part about this deck is the sideboard, the way that it works is kind of transformational, where we can decide to lean into Harvester of Misery and board wipes, or we can lean into more of a make your own luck plan. Okay, opponent goes first, but we have a Deadly Cover-Up and a Fleshgorger. So hopefully we can find a green source, because most of our lands are green sources. Yeah. 30% of our deck is green sources. So we should statistically on the draw be able to find a green source by turn 3. And if we can't, we can still throw down the Fleshgorger. We're just gonna Virtue. Prevents him from convoking. I don't know why our game is being so laggy. Oh, we really need to land. We'll run out of Fleshgorger. Alright. Opponent's a little flooded right now, especially if they start cracking blood tokens. Alright. We're going to Path to Peril. Get rid of opponent's board. Swing in for 3. opponent's looking at his blood tokens, and that's always a really good sign. I don't know why he played the Inspiring Vantage over the Mirrex, because the Mirrex is definitely going to give him more value in a game like this against a deck like mine. Alright. He ditches the Imodane's Recruiter. I don't know what he's looking for. Alright, buddy. Well, I think he would have had a decent shot if he just ran out the Imodanes and then hoped for the best, but... Alright. So, one day after reset, we're already in silver. Still undefeated since making version 4 of this deck.